What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Adventure Outpost. In today's adventure, we are looking at the charts for this previous weekend of September 23rd to the 25th. But quickly before we dive into all that good, juicy box office goodness, if you can, hit that subscribe button, smash that like button. Let's drop some comments down below. Let me hear what you saw this weekend, if you saw anything, what you thought of these movies and all that good stuff. And now we'll dive into our charts. And we're not going to waste any time today. We're going to dive right into them, take a look at our top 10. To no one's surprise, it looks like the Backstage drama was not enough to sink this movie. In fact, it might have been a reason why a lot of people went to go see this movie, which is a funny comparison that a lot of people always made to me. They're like, yeah, the behind the scenes drama made me want to go see this movie. Why? It's not like it's going to show up in the movie. It's such a weird thing for people to say. But whatever the reason it was that brought them out to the theater, they got out there. Don't Worry, Darling takes #1 for the weekend. The weekend of September 23rd to 25th saw a 28% increase in box office attendance over the top 10 movies over last week. We hit, for a weekend of our top 10 movies, a weekend gross of $55 million. And Don't Worry, Darling leads the pack in #1. Let's take a look here at the charts. In first place with $19 million. So clearly the Backstage drama wasn't enough to sink this movie. This movie soared to #1. You got your Harry Styles fans, you got your Florence Pugh fans, you got all the people that wanted to see our behind the scenes drama play out, and it brought in an almost $20 million opening weekend. Very good for that movie. It's a solid movie. I didn't get a chance to see it yet. I do want to go see it. I think I'm actually going to see it mañana. But I have not yet get to see the reviews for it. Were not kind, but that didn't seem to stop it at all. People were coming in this weekend here at my theater, especially. It was doing a lot of business, but we had to turn a lot of people away because it's hilarious of all the young teeny bopper fans that just want to go and see Harry Styles but are not old enough to see this movie, and they keep trying to get their parents to go see it, and the parents want nothing to do with it, so all these kids can't go see this movie. They just because it's rated R, but they need to see their Harry Styles. But we were kicking out kids left and right from seeing that movie at my theater this weekend. So it was, it still managed to do some business despite that, despite the amount of people that you had to kick out. Still got a decent amount of business there. Looking here at #2, The Woman King holds strong at #2, week 2 with a 42% drop off. It takes in $11 million, bringing its total domestic haul to 36. This movie's holding strong in second place. It's a solid spot. Especially I was wondering how it was going to do with also the re-release of Avatar coming out along with Don't Worry, Darling. But that is super impressive of it to hang on to second place in its second week, taking in 36 million total domestic. I don't know how much this movie cost to make. It will be interesting to look in and see those numbers and see just how much this movie has to go to make some profit, but that is a good week to week for that movie. Avatar taking the third spot. It is in, I'm putting it as new because I'm not putting it as week 667 as it wants to say on the Box Office Mojo and on the numbers, because that's just absurd. But in its third, taking third here, right here, with $10 million, bringing its total domestic haul to $770 million. Avatar obviously just getting out so it can grease the wheels before the second one, trying to drum up some more interest, trying to just drum up as much money as they can to keep in at #1 right now. Disney, I feel like, is just in perpetuity going to continue to do re-releases of Avatar and Avengers Endgame and just trade back that #1 spot for all eternity, and Disney's just going to keep raking in the money and playing off of that. Taking the #4 spot is Barbarian in its third week, dropping 26%, taking in $4.8 million to bring its total domestic haul to $28 million. Holding strong in the top 5. It is a good time for horror right now. Barbarian leading the pack. It will be interesting to see how it holds up this upcoming week with the release of Smile, which is another R-rated horror movie coming out. We'll see if Barbarian still is able to lead the pack here. So it'll be interesting to see what's happening with that. But Barbarian is a clear winner here in the category from 20th Century Studios. They have to be very happy with that win. A24, however, don't know how happy they are right now with their Pearl coming out. Pearl in its second week, dropping 39%, taking in $1.9 million to bring its total domestic haul to $6.6 million. That is not an impressive win for them there. They really must be scratching their heads seeing what's going on with that one. I wonder, it had to have been peanuts to make it, just so that like maybe the $6 million isn't that horrible for them. Maybe they might at least make their budget back, but it's going to be interesting to see with the third one coming out, if they try to do some kind of like like streaming release or if they stick to their guns and release it in theaters again. It's going to be interesting to see. Not a very impressive performance here for Pearl. My theater, it's already in its second week. This weekend will be its third weekend, and I'm already losing it at my theater. That is horrible to be losing a movie after 2 weeks, considering I've still had Minions after 6. I'm just losing Top Gun this weekend. I've had it for 19 weekends. We're losing Pearl after 2. Not where you want to be. Super, not very impressive. That is just terrible box office returns for that movie. I still have to see that one also. I've missed out on so much stuff to see right now. My fiance got COVID, so we weren't able to go out to the movies or anything until she got better. She's feeling better now, so obviously this week it's just going to be littered with movies. We're seeing Don't Worry Darling tomorrow, going to see Pearl on Wednesday, going to see The Woman King on Thursday, and then got to catch up on our new movies for this weekend, Bros and Smile. So it's going to be a whole week of seeing movies. It's going to be fucking great. I'm super pumped about it. In number 6 place is See How They Run in its second week, dropping 37%, taking in $1.9 million for a total domestic haul of $6 million. This is another movie. I'm honestly shocked that this movie's still in the top 10 after its second week. I thought it was going to have 1 week in the sun and then disappear out of there, but it's managing to hold on. It still brought in almost $2 million, which is impressive for that movie, considering I didn't think anybody was actually going to see this movie. Nobody saw it opening weekend when I went to see it. So I'm shocked that it's still here. So this is impressive for this one. I guess depending on how much it costs to make, I can't imagine from Searchlight Pictures this really took a lot to make. So I wonder if it still might be like a bomb or if it's gonna break even. I don't know. But still, $6 million, not where you want to be for your domestic haul. I wonder what it is worldwide. I can't imagine it's that much more if it's even done anything. Maybe in Britain, considering it's kind of like a British dry humor. But I don't know. Remains to be seen. Coming in number 7 in its 8th week is Bullet Train, dropping 29%, taking in $1.8 million, bringing its total domestic haul to $99 million. We're so close. We're so close, baby. Under $1 million to go to hit that box office number, that blockbuster number that we needed. I'm keeping it at my theater for another weekend. I'm sure it's at other places for a little while. I think it's going to do it. At this point, I think it's a bygone conclusion that we're going to do it. All it needs is less than $1 million. I can't see this movie making under $1 million this upcoming weekend. I think it is a safe bet to see that Bullet Train will be joining the rest of the summer 22 movies that have reached $100 million domestically, making an earning its blockbuster status. Bullet Train, welcome to the club. Happy to have you here. This is a great sign. 2022 for the summer box office was leagues and away the greatest that we've had since COVID, since this pandemic. So it is amazing to see all these movies hitting blockbuster status, and we welcome Bullet Train to the fold. Coming in number 8 in its 9th week of release is DC League of Super Pets, dropping the smallest margin of drop off from any of these movies in the top 10 with 19%, taking in $1.7 million for a total domestic haul of $90 million. This is what I called. It was going to come in right around $90 million here. I don't see it having another $10 million to get the blockbuster status. I see this movie probably petering out pretty soon. I don't see it having too many more weeks on the top 10, so it's going to end its total domestic run somewhere in the low $90 million range. Coming in number 9, the lowest that it has ever been since release, in its 18th week, taking number 9, with a 30% drop off, is Top Gun Maverick, taking in $1.5 million to bring its total domestic haul to $711 million. I think time in the sun might finally be setting for Top Gun, but goddamn what a run it was. We're going to keep charting it. We're going to see how it goes, see how close it gets on the highest grossing worldwide, but I think Top Gun is finally running out of steam. The fighter pilots are landing back at base. This movie has finally had its moment in the sun, but goddamn what a moment it was. And like I said, it's coming into its 19th week of release, and I am just losing it at my theater. That is an insane feat. Movies don't do that. Top Gun, you're an absolute legend. We salute your time in the sun. And rounding out the top 10, Minions Rise of Gru, still holding fucking strong in its 13th week of release, dropping 25%, taking in $1 million to bring its total domestic haul to $365 million. Minions is the movie that just won't quit. We still have it at my theater. It's still going strong at my theater. Even though you could buy it at home, you could buy it on physical media. I fucking already have it on physical media. This movie is just still slinging in numbers, which makes sense because there's really not many kids movies out out right now. There's not any kids movies coming out for a hot minute. I think not until next week when Lyle Crocodile comes out. Not this upcoming, I think it's the first week of October is Lyle Crocodile. So I think that'll finally be the time where maybe Minions finally set sail out of theaters and we go on to the next family movie that we have for the fall. Taking our look at our top 10 worldwide, again, no change in the movies. Nobody's trading spots, but everybody's earning some money and we're slowly rising up the ranks. Top Gun Maverick leading the pack with $1.464 billion. Jurassic World Dominion teetering right there on the edge. I know you saw somewhere on Instagram, Bryce Dallas Howard was already championing it. But according to the numbers that I've seen here so far, that as of recording this, Jurassic World Dominion has not hit $1 billion yet. It's right there, 999 million. I'd seen at this point, it seems like it's a foregone conclusion. It's going to get to $1 billion. I'm sure they're going to find that pocket change somewhere and it'll get to $1 billion. But as we're recording this, as we're looking at the numbers, it has not hit it just yet. But as the numbers report in and we look at next week's, when we get to next week's and we look back, I'm sure we will have passed that threshold. So congratulations to you, Jurassic World Dominion. You're joining the ranks. We have reached only 3 movies since the pandemic that have reached $1 billion. We salute you. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness taking third still with 955. We've got Minions Rise of Gru slowly closing in on it with 919. The Batman still holding strong right there in 5th place with 770. Thor Love and Thunder at 759. I don't know if it has that last little bit to pass it. It's inching closer, but that movie's about to come out tomorrow on physical media. I can't see many theaters that still have it in theaters, so I think this might be the final tally that we see for Thor Love and Thunder. Right behind that, we've got Watergate Bridge with no change at 626. Moon Man earning a little bit more, coming up to 451 million now. Fantastic Beasts rounding out number 9 at 405. And Sonic the Hedgehog 2 clinging to life in number 10 with $401 million. Over here on the domestic front, we are in the same deal where no movies are really changing place, but everything is still adding totals. We take a look here at the chart. Top Gun Maverick coming in with 711 million. Doctor Strange still in second with 411. Jurassic World Dominion at 376. It is crazy that we've only made Jurassic World Dominion has only made 376 million here domestically, but is $1 billion worldwide. It is. You cannot understate how much the world just loves Jurassic World Dominion. Like, that movie worldwide is just chewed up the box office internationally. It is insane. The Batman taking in 4th with 369 million. Minions right behind it with 365. Thor Love and Thunder right behind that at 343. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 at 190. Elvis at 150, Uncharted at 148, and Nope bringing up number 10 with $123 million. Before we take a look at our highest grossing worldwide and see just how much more Top Gun has to do to get to its 10th place spot, we like to take a look at our fallen heroes, our heroes that have dropped out of the top 10 for the box office for the week, and we give them a nice salute. So we take a look here at our charts for our Gone But Not Forgotten for this week. The Invitation, after spending 5 weeks on the chart, finally drops out of the top 10. And a Moonage Daydream, the David Bowie documentary, after spending only 1 week on the chart, says goodbye to the top 10 box office. You've done your time. You've earned your keep. We salute you. Thank you, fallen heroes, for all your time in the top 10. But now we take a look at our highest worldwide grossers to take us out. Still no change. Top Gun is, it's making its money, but I don't think it's going to have the goods to overtake number 10. I think it's going to earn up a little bit, but I think it's going to end up having to settle for just outside of the top 10. Just missing out on Furious 7's $1.516 billion total. Top Gun sits, if we take a look right here at this chart, just outside the top 10 at 1.464. I don't know if it has another like 100 million in it. Not 100 million, a little bit less than that, but still, it's still a lot to go. And I just don't see a movie this late in the game pulling out another 60, 70 million to get itself over that threshold. I just don't think it's going to happen. But still, 11th place is an absolutely incredible position to be, especially for a movie that a sequel that's coming out 30 years after the original, when have those ever worked to this degree? So this is an absolute stellar win, I feel like, for them. They should be absolutely proud to be sitting this close to the top 10. It is incredible. We're going to keep charting it as it goes along, obviously, to see, because like we said, if there's any movie that could pull off one last surprise, it would be Top Gun Maverick. So we're going to keep charting along here with all of these box office totals just to see how close it gets, just to see how much of a chance it had to put up a fight against Furious 7, though I think it's going to have to settle for 11th place. And that'll do it for all of us here at the Outpost for this week. It was a nice bump up increase. The last 2 weeks have just been slowly, steadily increasing at the box office. It'll be interesting to see if we can continue that with the release this weekend of the horror movie Smile and the romantic comedy Bros. I think both of those have a chance of putting up some very decent numbers and hopefully giving us a nice continued increase in the box office revenue as we inch closer back to our bigger movies like Halloween Ends and Black Adam and Wakanda Forever as we get into those fall and late Thanksgiving and Christmas releases. So it's going to be a very interesting fall here at the box office to take a look and see. And I'll be right here along charting it for you, giving you those numbers and watching along as we see how we go and we go into this last climb to the end of 2022. But that'll do it for all of us here at the Outpost. Until the next adventure, you have been you. I have been me. These are the movies we love so much. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you've seen. Let me know what you're seeing this weekend. If you're going out to see Smile or Bros, what you're most excited for. And until next time, adventure on.